military strength, but also an opportunity for China to project a diplomatic influence. And so for more on this, I'm joined by Wang Wen. He's a former chief opinion editor for the Chinese Communist Party's English language daily The Global Times. And he's also now the dean and a professor of the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies at Renmin University. Wang Wen, thank you very much for joining us today. Firstly, you want to get your thoughts on this parade in general, a sort of a bigger picture view. What does this mean to you?
Yeah, actually, I think today all Chinese people are very exciting because they are very proud for our country's powerful rising process. And also through this period, China hopes to achieve at least three very important goals. First, to shape a correct view of World War II history, telling the world that China was a country that made the greatest contribution and sacrifice in the Second World War. And secondly, to demonstrate China's strong military and defense capability, warning other powerful countries not to bully China again. Because a few people know that almost all Western countries in the history have invaded China over the past century or so. So China does not want this history to repeat itself. Thirdly, finally, I think China hopes to shape new international peace. China does not want to become a new hegemony power. In fact, China is the only major economy that has not participated in or caused a war in the past 4 decades. So I think practice have proved that the stronger China, the more peaceful the world.
Yes, and that's the second point that you were talking about, the sort of growing of military capabilities that China has. And you're saying that this is really a demonstration of peace through strength.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, yes, I think now it's a peaceful strategy. Yeah.
Well, you've described in the past that the growing links between countries in the global south as reconstructing the global order. There's an absence, a very visible absence of Western leaders at the parade today. Is this an explicitly in sort of signal that the global order is being shaken up?
Yeah, actually, I think China is very grateful that so many leaders of emerging economy and countries from global south coming to China attend the military parade. However, as you mentioned, it's a very pity that Western leaders did not attend the Chinese parade. Many of these countries, such as UK, US, should have celebrated the 18th anniversary of victory in the World War II with China and shared China's historical memory of fighting fascism. But they declined to accept China's invitation. This is very regrettable. But however, on the other hand, I think that is a loss of the West. The West lost an opportunity to witness history and also lost an opportunity to better understand and observe China's rising military power and strategic resolve up closely. So from this perspective, I think Chinese does not the China don't care whether they attend the parade or not. After all, the vast majority of the country in the world send high-level representatives demonstrating an unprecedented era of cooperation between China and the world. So I think that China don't want to be the new hegemony to lead the world. China just want to show our strategic desire to cooperating with the world.
And so just to clarify, you're saying that these other world leaders, the US, the UK, and other European leaders were invited to this event, but they declined?
Yeah, I think so. I think all the countries from global south, they all think that UK and US, they lost completely the dominance of the world. So that's why so many leaders, they come to China just to support China's memory of the true historical memory of the World War II, not only including the countries from Europe, from Africa, from Latin America, but also from Russia, from North Korea, from ASEAN. I think most of the countries in the world, they send the high level representatives to China.
Well, if we talk about those world leaders that are there, then Vladimir Putin and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un amongst the most high-profile one. If we take them one at a time, just talk to us about the relationship that China has with Russia.
I think China and Russia made a great contribution and sacrifice during for second. President Putin attendance at the parade was to share our common memory of the Second World War. So I think this is a perfectly normal democratic interaction and manifestation of our shared support for shaping a correct historical perspectives on Second World War. So I believe this is not controversial. But I can understand that I know in a lot of Western media, they still think this is a very controversial issue because China provides the international platform, multilateral platform for Russia. But I suggest that we must be more realistic about Russia because Russia cannot be defeated by Ukraine. Even President Trump is adjusting his policy towards Russia and interacting with President Putin in Alaska last month. So why can so many Western leaders view Russia? Why not they view Russia realistically? I think for China, Russia is a very strategic partner, afraid with a shared historical memory and stakeholder with complementary interest. So I think that China-Russia interaction is a very neutral right between two sovereign power, and especially today, I think no force can separate China-Russia relationship.
Well, the criticism from the West will be that Russia has invaded a sovereign country and that China, by almost not condemning them and by continuing to trade with Russia, is inadvertently supporting that effort. Russia, if China is so determined to project this image of peace and stability, then could it not use its influence to rein in Vladimir Putin and his attempts to conquer Ukraine, which is a sovereign country?
I think China's positions on the Ukraine crisis are very, very clear and obvious. And we think that's a very complicated issue. And China is not the part of the crisis. China just wants to keep the peaceful solutions. So on the one hand, China keeps the normal diplomatic relationship with Russia. But on the other hand, no one knows that in the past few years, China still keeps the normal trade bilateral relationship with Ukraine. So I think China is a neutral position. So we just want to keep and promote the peaceful solutions. We didn't export any military weapons to both sides. We just said and encourage both of the Russia and Ukraine stay together and find a peaceful solution. I think this is what China can do. This is a very neutral way.
And Wang Wen, just to get your final thoughts on North Korea and leader Kim Jong-un, who's also present at this parade, what does this mean about the relationship that President Xi has with the North Korean leader?
Yeah, it's a very interesting and very important question. But China and North Korea share a long history of resisting Japanese aggression. I don't know whether you know this memory, can go back not only 80 years, but even 500 years, dating back to the Ming Dynasty 500 years ago. So I think as a North Korea leader, Mr. Kim Jong-un's attendance at Chinese military parade demonstrates that both China and North Korea hope to jointly rekindle this shared historical memory and strengthen our friendship between China and North Korea. Also, I think China warmly welcomes Kim Jong-un attendance at the parade. And first of all, I think, as we all know, that this is Kim Jong-un's first participation in such a multilateral international event. It's his first time. But this demonstrates North Korea designed to engage with the world in a more open matter. So I think that both West or the other countries in the world should welcome North Korea openness, because they want to share that their leader want to engage with the world in such an open international multilateral event and platform. These are good things.
Wang Wen, thanks very much for your thoughts today. I appreciate your time with us. Wang Wen, their former chief opinion editor for the Chinese Communist Party's English language daily, The Global Times.